Welcome to the Au. I'm your host, Beef Loaf. This show is being sponsored by our friends Punky's Pizza and Pasta, located at 2600 South Wallace, my personal favorite eatery in the neighborhood. They have the best selection of pizzas and pastas, as well as sandwiches and salads of any spot in Bridgeport. Currently, they have a terrific Monday nights only special, one medium cheese pizza for $12.99. No promo codes, no minimums. Just place the order after 3 p.m. and you get one medium cheese pizza for $12.99. Toppings can be added, but at the normal prices. Hit the website, punkyspizza.com, for all your carryout or delivery needs, or to cater your next party. You can also call 312-842-2100. The Scarlotta family will take care of you. Punky's Pizza and Pasta. This show is also powered by you, the Loyal 108 supporter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to tuckle the undercarriage in the process. Like, comment, turn on notifications, and most definitely super chat, because that's how we get paid, and it's how we continue to make the content you know and love. Tonight's guest... He's a longtime member of Barstool Sports, a former hurler for the University of Illinois, and a Brother Rice grad to boot. He's also the charter member of the Mitch Trubisky fan club and a French onion soup connoisseur. Barstool Carl, welcome to the Au, my friend.
Oh, what an introduction. I'm happy to be here. Everybody go to Punky's and subscribe to the 108 channel. It's good to see you, Beef.
Good to see you too, my friend. It's been a minute. It'll be nice to catch up because I've had some good long-winded conversations with you over the years. Over a pop or two or not, but it's good to see you. And I love the basement setup here. You got Peyton behind you. You got looks like a comfortable couch there with a lot of pillows. What's going on? Where's Scotty Puppin at? Is he going to come running through in a little bit or what?
Scotty Puppin's upstairs. Basement's off limits for everybody in the house except for me. I have a stationary camera. If I had my multicam set up, I'd cut to the fake Ivy wall. I got a Wrigley clock. I might be making Wrigley clocks this off season for sale. So a lot of different themes here. It's a nice basement. It's a warm basement. It's only made warmer by this conversation with you. Like, hot stove is probably my favorite time of the baseball season because, like, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm mad, but I'm not, like, that mad. So there's a lot of good stuff to get to. And, yeah, dude, like, every time you and I get together, I feel like we end up in very deep conversations that are filled with, like, I had no idea you knew this guy or that you were this guy or that. So
wait, you played against him? That sort of shit, dude. Like,
yeah, I think last time I was talking to you about your basketball coach at De La Salle, or like how many minutes you got off the bench. I think I was texting you about like, oh, do you remember that good Lions Township team? So, anyways,
yes, absolutely. So hot stove's not making you upset yet. So Matt Boyd is fine with you. You're not pissed off. You're not, because I've seen some of Cubs Twitter. I follow a bunch of Cubs people, and they mixed reviews on that assigning right there.
I'm not mad yet. I'll be mad later in the season when he's at 75 innings in August and he's been on the IL or DL two or three times. I'll be mad later. Right now, I'm just confused why we can't go after Juan Soto, or we can't be in the mix consistently for large-scale free agents. The Cubs are grossing somewhere around $600 million a year just from like stadium operations or ticket sales and concessions and shit. Like, they just don't put it back into, you know, free agent signings. And so what you find like Matt Boyd, whatever, he's great, $14.5 million a year for 2 seasons. Like, that's a drop in the bucket. But then we're going to turn around and say that we can't spend $35 million on a baseball player, you know, and then we're going to have Matt Boyd sitting around fucking carrying a backpack and bubble gum, and it's just going to be a terrible situation. And I can't even, like, this way, it's so predictable at this point. That's why I don't think I can get mad. So
I appreciate that. The long-term fandom of it just is not going to allow it. So what I want to get to here is I wanted to talk about, truthfully, I want to talk about some content stuff with you, Carl. I'm fascinated with the way you do things there. But first off, I want to start, how the hell did you end up at Barstool? Because I'm guessing you weren't at the U of I saying, I want to be a blogger for a living. I'm going to guess that was not your path initially, but somehow you end up here. How did that go?
Yeah, I've told the story like in a bunch of different versions over the years, and like it's good to come back and like tell it one more time or try and tighten it up a little bit. But I was introduced to Barstool in college my senior year. I think you and I have connected about this. We're both accountants.
Correct. That's correct. By trade. Yep, that's right.
I went to Illinois and I walked on the baseball team. And when I walked on the baseball team, they're like, what's your major and what do you study? And I was like, I'll study, what college can I get into? And so I had pretty good grades. I transferred into the College of Business. And when I got there, they're like, what do you want to major in? You're like, I'll major. What's the best major? In accounting. And my brother studied accounting. I didn't know shit about it. So really it was just a matter of like, if I can study this, I'll study this. I know this is good. And so while I was playing baseball and studying accounting, But people don't tell you when you elective majors, these classes are 2 hours long. So we're just bored out of our fucking skulls in these classes. And my longtime buddy comes back after like doing an internship in Boston, and he comes back. He's like, dude, you got to read this website, Barstool Sports. And that was in August of 2009. So we were in our graduate school together, and I just became instantly, fanatically obsessed with the website. Like day one was just obsessed with it. So I wasn't like I don't know if I'd say like as soon as I got exposed to it, I was like, I want to be a part of this so fucking bad. And that was
that's crazy.
Yeah, like 15, 16 years ago. And so just start there, like sending a blog, emailed Dave Portnoy a couple times. I met Dante out one time, met Dante out another time. I was in the same softball league as Big Cat. I had like built up a pretty big blog presence on my own called Stirkwood. And then like it was something I really wanted to be a part of. So when I got out of Illinois, I went to law school, and in my head, I'm like, maybe I'll work for a major league front office. Like I would email front offices, I would send my resume out, and then in the meantime, I'd be emailing Dave Portnoy. And it was really those were like the two paths I was basically interested in, which is so fucked up to think about. Like or major league front office, and but even then, dude, as you say this, like it took. I was on Barstool for like 4 years writing 3 blogs. And like even then, you're only writing like 1 blog a week, maybe 2 blogs a week, maybe 0 blogs a week. Big Cat's like a superstar. You're just writing Cubs blogs and just trying to stay relevant.
Well, how does that work then, Carl? Like when you're first starting out like that, you're not a paid employee or anything. You're someone just trying to get your foot in the door. You send them blogs, and it's like a submission process. Like they'll use them if they want, or they'll tell you to fuck off if they don't like it. Is that kind of how it works, or what?
No, dude. I'm going to tell this. I've never told this story before. I'm going to tell you one. You send in blogs. You send in your blog. Dave Portnoy would be like, if you want to write for Barstool or work for Barstool, start a blog and write the blog. And so you'd be surprised how few people actually start a blog and keep a blog then. I mean, for every email that if you get 100 emails, like there's maybe one guy that actually started a blog and kept a blog, or maybe somebody starts a blog, but they don't keep it. It's pretty hard. Right. So Dave would say, start a fucking blog, update it 3-4 times a day and send it in. If it's worth the shit, I'll take a look at it. So that's how I did that. And it got me emails with Dave back and forth where he's like, hey, you're a pretty funny writer, but you're also a pretty bad writer, and like some stuff's good, some stuff's terrible. And the emails are really funny in hindsight to go back and read. But I had basically done enough to get into like that Barstool radar or mix or whatever. And then it was like May 2013 and Big Cat. This was his first year full time. And I had like sniffed out. I'm not going to accuse him of plagiarizing, but he basically
maybe he borrowed some ideas
from a famous handicapper on Twitter called Stucky, and they had like similar tweets back and forth or something. Yep. And I had sent Dan like a tweet being like, "Hey, you fuck." This is why Big Cat's such a genius. He replies, he was like, "Hey, what happened to your blog? Email me if you want to blog here." Like he's so savvy on the internet. Like he just looks past conflict right away. He's just like, "Oh, what happened to your blog, dude?" And so next thing you know, I end up in this like email exchange with Big Cat where he's like, "Do you still blog?" And I was like, "Yeah, I still blog a little bit." And he was like, "Well, if you're interested, I could use some help with the Cubs, and I know you know a lot about baseball." So that was like really kind of that first entry point. It wasn't like Dave was like, "Oh, your writing's great" or whatever. Like it actually had to take some like weird cosmic moment of me catching Big Cat and something and catching him at the right time for him to say, "Send me an email if you're interested in blogging." So I followed up on that. And I mean, and then it takes like a year to get comfortable, another year for like you to actually be comfortable. And but at that point, Dave's like Portnoy has like no idea who you are. It's just you're just sending blogs into Dan, and Dan's just like giving you a hat at the end of the week, or giving you free tickets. And he's like you're just at the time Barstool's so small, you're just trying to fucking do something during your lunch break and stay interested. So, dude, honestly, this is a story that like it could go for fucking 10 hours, but it's so meaningless. And like at any point in time you don't do something, then you and I aren't sitting here having this conversation here. Right? In hindsight, everything feels so unbelievably important to tell those details, but it was a Wild West, the internet back then.
I got follow-ups here. When Dave Portnoy sends you an email back and he says your some of your stuff's good, some of this stinks, Does he give you notes, like critical, like here's what you did that was messed up? That's why I'm curious, or is it just like this blows? Like how did that work?
I remember writing this blog about it was like some country in Africa. I can't recall off the top of my head. Like, something I wouldn't know. The Democratic Republic of Congo or something. We'll just say they made headlines because it was the headline was something like study finds Congo. I'm just using them as an example. Congo has like the lowest cost or as like the lowest quality of living, but also the largest dick size. And I remember writing this blog and being like, all right, on one hand, like smallpox, that's not good. Carrying water over your head 16 miles uphill. Not a good situation. However, it's a guy of, very average proportions. And so, like, I remember writing that, but that blog was only like 200 words. And then there's the follow-up blog was, like 1,000 words about something stupid. Dave's like, yo, the big dick blog's funny. Like, just do more big dick stuff. I swear, it's one of the funniest emails.
That's amazing.
But that's kind of a tense moment emailing with him when you're trying to get it in. You're like, everyone wants to get his attention. And then when you get his attention, you're like, I don't know if I want this guy's attention right now.
Right. It's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
And also you mentioned, you got you a little crossing with the Big Cat on Twitter. Was this before or after you went in the same softball league as him? Had you already befriended him, or was this later on? Like, how did
we had
work?
not befriended each other, but we were in the same softball league. It had just started. It might have been a week or two into it, where it was like, "Yo, the guy on that team that's Big Cat from Barstool or whatever." And I was, Dan is a very good blogger, and if you blog, and you were on the internet blogging around that time, and you're aware of Big Cat as a blogger more than a radio host or a social media presence or a fucking coffee guy now, or like he's 1,000 things now, but at the time,
it's huge, yeah.
Dude, he was just puts out 8-10 blogs a day that are all unique and witty, and some are short, some are long, some are fucking just super weird and off the wall. And so he's just such a good fucking blogger. So at the time, it was like, you knew who he was. He had no fucking clue who I was. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let me get to a few drinks quickly here. Gordo says, cheers to Carl's French onion soup reviews. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've submitted many pictures to Carl over the years. Some good ones, some bad ones. I sent you one that you made fun of because it looked like utter shit. And I didn't disagree with your commentary. I loved it. So thank you, Gordo. Appreciate you.
Hey, French onion soup that's a surprising thing. I want to talk about relatability later, but like yes. That surprised me, and the whole thing has surprised me how often people in that when you see a soup on the menu, it's French onion, and you're like, I gotta fucking rip this right now. Like I've always had that in me, and I guess people have that, so that's great.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it from a soup perspective, I'm not always a fan of I like cream soups. When you're out to dinner, cream soup can be scary. And this one is almost like a full meal because it has the baked cheese over the top. It's got the bread in there, like everything kind of. So I get why people the draw to it. If I were at a diner, I probably would order it. So let me get to one more drink here. Gordo says, could Carl strike out Massey? I assume that's Michael Massey from the Royals. Could you strike him out, Carl?
That's I just hosted Massey. I not hosted, but I mean I did. We had 16 guys at a Bears game for Massey's bachelor party before he went. He just got married in Mexico. Nice. This past weekend. Shout out Massey. Here's the reason why I'm going to strike Massey out. And I don't know if I've talked to him about this before, but I'm the type of guy, as a right-handed pitcher against a left-handed hitter, you get a good long look at my fastball, especially if I'm going to pitch inside. That'll get you a little bit too aggressive. So I'm going to throw a first pitch inside that Massey's going to hit 700 feet foul for strike one. I'm going to give the first. Right away. I'm going to give away that half of the plate, and then I'm going to throw him 5 of the filthiest fucking changeups he's ever seen in his entire life. That's a promise. Hey, that's a promise, Massey. If you're watching this, I know you are. It's probably had a little honeymoon sex. Welcome to the Ushu. You're going down.
He's post-coitus right now, and he's listening to how you think you would get him out. I mean, we'll see. I'd love to see it in reality. Let's go. So
Order a Punky's pizza, Mass.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, Carl, we were talking about the French onion a little bit. I want to get into this because, for my money, you're one of the best out there on Twitter in turning something mundane, some topic, into absolutely great content. I look forward to seeing you tweet about something totally mundane and it go way the fuck off the rails. People retweeting it and commenting and people getting in fights. What's your approach to Twitter? What goes through your mind when you're trying to create what I would call it's art, but it's content on Twitter. What's the approach?
The easiest way is to like have an identity that you live with. By the way, thank you for that nice fucking statement.
Welcome.
Not a lot of people are saying that nice of things. I gotta say thank you. That's really nice of you. Twitter, first off, is changed drastically. I think that it was in this, not to be like too much of a boomer here, but like it has definitely changed a lot, and the function of that app has changed. But now, like the content sharing, it has to be like really insightful, or it has to be, like really fucking connected to some algorithm topic. Like the algorithm's out of control right now. Like I'll be scrolling and I'll see like a rusty screw video, and I'll just watch that, and then the next video will be like a rusty nail, and then the next video they show me is like a nail gun from Home Depot that you can buy if you just click this fucking link. And all it just started with me taking a dump, like seeing one video that I watched. Right. For 40 seconds to completion, and then next thing you know, I'm in the rusty nail algorithm. So this is my long-winded opener, just saying like Twitter's changed a lot, like a whole lot, and I would say the best approach to it, or the way I just kind of think about it, is like it's the best to your life and the way you think about things, or kind of just like a way to flush out your own personal tone or identity on stuff. And when I started using Twitter was because Big Cat was like, get a Twitter, and I never used it at all for like 4 years. Like I would just put up, or I'd live tweet Cubs games, or it really wasn't until we had the podcast Redline Radio, and then you're using it to promote the show. And now my furnace is going to turn on. So if you get a little fucking kickback here, pal, that's part of the authentic juicer.
I love it.
So it's just more about just trying to be authentic about your life experiences and making it relatable to other people, so they see it and they go, fuck yeah. And there's some really relatable experiences people all want to like rally around and stuff. So whether or not, a good example would be like, if your quarterback fucking sucks, like everybody's quarterback sucks. Nobody has a good quarterback. There's like 3 good quarterbacks out there. Like go to San Diego, or LA, they hate Justin Herbert. That guy's a stud. Like people in Cincinnati are bitching about Joe Burrow right now. It's just a fact. Nobody likes their fucking quarterback. So bitching about your quarterback or making your quarterback relationship a thing is very relatable. The French onion soup's another good example we talked about. But like, I don't know. You're on Twitter. I love the way you guys go about Twitter. I love the 108 vibe. Like, it's all community based. Like, you guys, when I see your shit, I'm like not even a fucking White Sox fan, and like, I get moved to be like, oh, dude, let's fucking go. Let's go crush beers in section 108. So like, I think you guys do it a lot. I think a lot too is that Barstool community engagement. You're getting retweeted by other people in the Barstool environment, or just having that credibility of like, oh, that's a Barstool guy. Like, then people are more inclined to be like, oh, what does he have to say? Or he's part of this. He works for Dave Portnoy, et cetera. So it's kind of a big melting pot to everything, but it keeps changing, dude. Like, I'm becoming more like event based with Twitter, where like I like a Bears game on Twitter. I like a Cubs game on Twitter. I don't know if I'm aging out of it, but like, the other thing too is just don't be afraid to say fuck off or have that attitude of like, I don't give a. I think some of the funniest shit I've done on Twitter is like, I got loaded after Illinois lost to UConn last year and stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning and talk shit. Go look at my replies for this 48-hour win. I stayed up, talked shit to anybody who wanted to talk shit to me. I told anybody, if you want to talk shit to me, talk shit to me. I go back and read those replies. I laugh so fucking hard at that stuff. It's me wasted in a hotel room, probably ruining some guy's gonna go fight with his girlfriend and because of this. Her why he's mad. Why are you all mad? You don't fucking understand. It's because you're mad at me and you're on a burner and you started with you taking a dump and now we're in a big fight, pal. Fuck you. Suck my dick.
Yeah, so I like that because there's a level of spontaneity to stuff too. It's just like, fine, fuck it, I'm going down this rabbit hole. I don't care what it is, and we're gonna run with this goddamn thing. Yeah, I always, when I look at Twitter as for what it is, I agree with you. Like, putting things out there that are like part of your life or whatever, or things that maybe you don't think about, things you think no one else thinks like you on this, and then you find out fucking everyone thinks about like it like you.
So now that you say that, it reminds me, no one has ever I never talk about my wife, or I never talk about family life, or like, I mean, maybe every now and then we'd be like, had a nice day at church, going to get some. No one gives a fuck about that. Like, no one cares about. Like, there's no benefit of it. Say, here's a Christmas card. Of, here's me and my wife and our dog, and here's our. Like, that does not. No one benefits from that. Like, there is almost this like WWE, WF kind of like character based thing here, where like the internet gets to see what I want to put out there, and that's what you'll fucking interact with, unless I choose otherwise. And so there are some things that I'm very intentional about not showing or not talking about, or kind of maybe dumbing down a little bit. But but that's kind of all on purpose, because like the point of it is to be a distraction and in some respects entertainment.
Should be fun
around it. Like, I hate when people say journalist or talk about like writing articles or like that. I ain't no fucking journalist, dude. I'm supposed to be like that drunk guy in the bleachers, or I'm supposed to be that like older, knowledgeable fan that's been down that road before, or whatever, for the millennial generation and the Gen Z or whatever. Like, you're not supposed to be taking shit too fucking serious here, and that's always kind of been my place with it. And I think it's kind of rubbed some people the wrong way, but like, it is what it is.
I love it. Let's jump back to blogging, because that's really where you got your start there. In some respects, I think blogging is a little bit of a lost art, because everyone wants to be on video. Everyone wants to be doing podcasts now. And for my money, blogging is a lot of fun, and you're great at it. I really enjoy reading your blogs, whether it's about sports or MILFs. I mean, I'm glad that you took special interest in MILFs. I don't want them to be shamed either. I'm a big fan as well. So, I mean, when you get down to blogging, Carl, and it's like, okay, this is what we're doing today or whatever, where do the ideas come from? How does the inspiration come? How do you get going? Are there any rules to this that you give to yourself as far as blogging? How does this work?
All right, so it's crazy. Thank you this is like my favorite thing to talk about. Or like, I just like love this shit, because I agree with you. Blogging's a lost art. And like, when you and I you're a little bit older than I am, but like, blogging, that's how we read blogs. When people are like, if you heard about blogging, like, it was awesome to read a blog, or it's just, there's something about just black and white text and just having a fucking laugh about somebody else's stupid little joke. I have a formula, I'll tell you. Like, you got to talk about yourself in a blog. That's the whole point of a blog. Like, a blog is about you. So if you have to talk about you, but like, don't be the world's biggest expert. It's kind of like a duality there, where like, it has to be through your lens, but you have to come across as being likable. And then you want to be like conversational, obviously. Like, I've spent so much time writing work emails and reports, and fucking when I was in law school, writing stupid fucking briefs and just doing writing stuff you don't give a shit about for people you don't really care about, something that just like you're going to forget about tomorrow. You just don't give a fuck. And so blogging is like the complete opposite of that. Where like, you don't have to write you can write however you want to write. And so over time, it's taken this very like conversational tone to it. I think you just have to take a look at the environment. Blogging for Barstool is a real gift and blessing, just because you have an environment that's already baked in. One of the problems is you have so many people that are blogging or do have takes, so there's a lot of people getting their opinions out. So it's kind of harder to stand out in that sense. But like, you just like the MILF thing. Okay, I'll be specific. The MILF topic's a great topic.
I love the MILF thing. It was so funny.
Well, I mean, it's like, who doesn't love a MILF? Like, MILFs are like MILFs. MILFs love MILFs. Like, everybody loves a MILF. Like, older ladies are like anybody loves a MILF. And a common topic is to create controversy that doesn't exist. So
that makes sense.
When I originally started talking about MILFs, it was like, I'm sick and tired of people that are out on MILFs. And I'll make something up. I'm at the gym the other day, hot MILF walks by, big cans, great rack. And I'm staring at her, and, like, a couple guys were like, hey, man, she's not attractive. You just make up some stupid thing that didn't happen.
Right.
So then I'm arguing.
Get a little hook in there.
Like, are this, you don't like a big rack, or is it, what's wrong with these guys? And now you're just telling this fake thing that doesn't happen. It's like, so I'm here to set the record straight. I don't care what other people say. MILFs are hot. MILFs are awesome. I'm going to show you a picture.
Here's how you prove it. Yeah.
What do you guys think, huh? So, dude, you get to the end of this blog, people are like, yeah, dude.
Let's go. Let's go, MILFs.
In the meantime, no one's asking the question like, was anybody like actually out on MILFs in the first? No. But controversy and conflict, responding to controversy, which I think is something you guys can do, or something like that's a tip for like, all right, you're writing about baseball, like, they sign somebody, I'll if I sit down and write anything about Matt Boyd, or if there's another move for the Cubs to package it up together, it would probably start with something like, a lot of people are fucking pissed off about this move. I want to set the record straight on it. And like, I think that's a really good tactic, but I have 1,000 of these like little tactics or jokes in my head, or,
I love it.
You just build it up over time. And I think more people should be blogging. Do you have any good blogs that you read on a day-to-day basis?
That's a good question. Not too much anymore. I read you guys. I'll flip through the page and see if there's a headline that. But for the most part, no. And there used to be a lot back, 15 years ago. So it's kind of interesting how much that's changed. Where there's just not a lot of. I'm not spending a lot of time in blogs that much anymore.
Did you ever come across Maddox, the best page in the universe? There's a couple guys I really like. Maddox was one.
Okay.
I really liked Drew from Deadspin before. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
He's a phenomenal blogger, and he did really good NFL content as like a non-football guy. I think he's like a pussy football player in college. He'll describe himself or something, I should say. Like he wasn't like some big athlete, but he has he had a good tone about the way he talked about football. And then Tucker Max, I read a ton of him.
That's right, I remember.
Like who did it? Yes. Who didn't read Tucker Max in the early 2000s?
It's wild stories.
I think Dave Portnoy is like the best blogger. He doesn't write that much anymore. When he does write a blog, you can tell because he uses 2 spaces after each period.
That's old guy with the 2 spaces.
Yeah, he can in 200 words. I think he can say more than anybody else. I think he just says, you get done reading 200 words and he says so much, where like a lot of people will just like me, I'll fucking waste 200 words faster than anybody ever seen. So, how many, I'm sorry, I'm just curious now that we're talking blogging, how many blogs a week do you write?
It used to be like 2, and now it's probably 1 every 2 weeks-ish. Like, because now more streams and these other things that we're working on as opposed to writing. I love writing. I just don't, like the time gets sucked up doing, we got a plan for this podcast. Oh, we're going to have this special thing going. Oh, we got this live show. And less of kicking out those things. Treasy and I were talking about it the other day. It's like, we got to blog more, man. We got to get our asses back in there and talk about the Sox or other whatever shit is on our mind more often, just because I feel like it's something that's stickier. When I put something on the blog, then I see it out there on Twitter again. People bring it up. They bring it back to me later on. Oh, you had this idea, whatever. When we say them on a podcast, that shit doesn't come back as much. It's like it's just out there in the wind, and people don't. It doesn't just get stuck with people. So it feels like that medium is better for getting an idea that people will stick with and remember it was your idea.
Oh, that's really well said, dude. I think we're gonna see like kind of a more circular moment here. We're back to writing where I don't know if it's either has to be high quality writing or it has to be consistently posted in a higher volume. But you're right with the podcast, like, and the shows and the streams, and so much stuff is out there. Like, you have to build an audience to then give them all the shows and all the stuff. And I think blogging is a more effective like audience building mechanism.
Agreed.
Because people can interact with it the same way on their convenience. And we can spend another hour on this, but I'm just interested. Like, content creating has changed so much, dude. It's just changed. I agree. Writing is it's better for the soul too. Like, when you get down, you put your heart into something, and you're like, that's it, publish, boom. Feels great.
There's nothing better too than putting one out there. I wrote something about there was a big dust up between 670, the Score guys, and John Schriffen, who's the play-by-play announcer for the White Sox. And I put a blog out there where I might have hurt some feelings, and there's nothing better than pushing send and saying, oh shit, I wonder what's going to come out of this. Like that, there's the anxiety of doing that sometimes is great. Or putting an idea that feels a little dangerous, like everyone's going to shit on me for this stupid idea, it like feels good. Like I enjoy it.
It's okay to get shit on if you know people like you. Like, if it's from your 108 community and it's from the guys and it's from White Sox fans that see you and trust you and love you, is like, dude, this is our guy. Like, and they're busting your balls and they're coming at you for a bad take. like that almost makes the take better, you know?
Yeah. That they're comfortable even too to doing that as well.
Do you like Schifrin? I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm trying to take over your interview, but like I'm just curious how you bring this.
You know, I like his level of enthusiasm. I think that was something that got shed on because of the fact that the team wasn't very good, and he's just kind of like a high octane guy to begin with. I know he tempered it down as the season went on. He's a little green as a baseball guy. I think one of the main criticisms for him was that he wasn't a crusty old baseball guy, because a lot of the guys that will get these jobs, even as young announcers, they've been doing a decade in the minors. And so they are fucking baseball guys. This guy's coming from doing other sports and jumping into baseball. And so he's learning a lot on the fly. And so there were things in his first year that like people really went off on stuff that he got wrong. And it's like, it's the learning curve. But I think he'll probably improve a bunch, but I like the enthusiasm out of the gate. I like him fine. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. Nothing compared to lots of Sox fans.
He has much more room to get better than he does room to get worse, and I think that he could have been much worse, and he'd have much less to build off if he was down that other path. I think the energy's there. He's sitting next to Stone Pony. If he wants to be good at it, he will end up being good at it. Like, and if he's capable of being good at it, he'll grow into something. I think that's sensational. I think Benetti's overrated. You know, Len Casper's calling radio. Why don't you bitch about that? You guys won 41 fucking games last year. Complaining about the PA or complaining about the play-by-play guys. Funny stuff, but
Right.
Good luck to him. I love White Sox fans. I do. You guys are awesome.
The fact that we're still sticking with it after 41 win season.
Yeah. I mean, we're in it, dude.
Yeah, this is what it is. Like, this is a lot of people are jumping off or whatever, and a bunch of us were like, "There's no jumping off. This is our team. This is it. Like, this is where there's no other fandom or nothing else. Maybe you stop liking baseball, but we ain't going nowhere. This is our team."
But going back to you publishing that thing about Schifrin and not knowing if people are going to like it, and like, am I going to get under somebody's skin here with this, or is this a good take? Dude, that's a real thrill ride, is to like pioneer a conversation or to ride a conversation and be a part of that within a Chicago sports community. Chicago sports fans are awesome. You know, they're different. Yep. I don't think they're the craziest. I think Philly people are by far and away number one when it comes to just being crazy, intense lunatics. But that's not a split city. I don't know what Chicago would be like if we only had one baseball team, you know, and if we only had one of the Bulls or the Blackhawks and not both. Like, I think if we had Blackhawks, one baseball team, and Bears, then we would be the craziest city. But my point is saying it's a privilege to be around a conversation of Chicago sports and Chicago sports fans and interacting with it. Like, you made the joke about Mitch Trubisky coming in. There's a great story behind that. But, like, the point is, people are going to be mad about Mitch. People are going to be defending Mitch in some capacity. And so to have, like, access to both sides, where you'd get up one day and some people would be like, Mitch fucking sucks. And then other people would be like, thank you for defending Mitch.
You get the whole spectrum. It's funny, too, because I shit on the pick when they first did it, and then he was really good in 2018, Carl. Like, really good. Like, I was like, oh, my God, he might be a really good quarterback. Then the wheels fell off, but you know what? He's still in the league. I saw him last night. He's still on a team. Like, he's like a median NFL quarterback, basically, right? I mean, like, that's what ends up happening with him.
He goes into the game, Instagram DMs just start one after the other. Mitch. So that's kind of fun. And the other thing, too, I've never really had a chance to defend myself on this, Mitch, because there's a lot of people on the internet that like came at me hard as if I got skin in the game, as if I'm fucking playing him. I'm putting him in the game. Shut the fuck up. It was COVID. We couldn't go to games. We were supposed to, I'd be going out doing tailgate content or fucking going to games and doing stuff, jumping into hot tubs. Like, we were in the mix and doing stuff, remember? Yep. It was like COVID. You can't do anything. And I remember one day I was riding my bike, or I was riding a dippy around Soldier Field, and I just started doing a Mitch chant on the bike. Let's go, Mitch. It's August. They're in training camp, and people are so mad about it. I was like, I might be onto something here. Like, this could be funny. And then, dude, it's literally like you're just throwing ideas at the wall before the season starts. Like, what should we do for Bears? And I was just like, fuck it. I remember being on a podcast and like everybody was just shit on Mitch. I was like, you know what? I actually fucking think he's pretty good.
And once you get in and it's going, that train starts rolling. You can't get off. You're in, baby. You are in forever.
Like, they'd be like, you don't fucking, we'd be like, just like off air stuff, like behind the scenes. Like, Eddie would be like, come on, man. I know you don't believe that. And even in these moments, dude, it'd be like a closed door. I feel bad for Ed. Like, there used to be like closed door conversation. You know, maybe somebody's not that happy with me and be like, and I know you don't believe in Mitch. You know, be like, I didn't say that. I didn't say I didn't believe in him. I thought he's got room. Like, you can't say he sucks.
You still might make it.
That was funny. That ended up being probably a bigger. That ended up being like a bigger, not controversy, just like probably pushed some buttons the wrong way on that one towards the end. But like did this like I don't know, Erica or it's just a funny fucking thing, dude. It's funny,
right.
and it's funny to sit here and reminisce and talk about like why was I so in on Mitch? Yes,
This
yes.
is how it happened.
Twitter blocking, like where do these ideas come from? So you just need something to plant your flag in the ground so you can say, hey, this is my fucking, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So where I got my first big exposure to you, Carl, was in the original version of Redline Radio. Not the four piece, not the quartet. The you and White Sox Dave, and then occasionally a sidecar. Nick Shepkowski was in there a few times or whatever. That was a baseball show back then, and you guys would talk baseball, and then you would talk maniac shit. I mean, it was such a fun listen. I would look forward to every time you guys have put on a new episode. You got any stories from those days, you guys, to give to me and to people listening to this? Because that was some fun times back then.
Yes. Thank you. I'm like, Dan, just even bringing up Redline Radio, original days of just me and White Sox Dave. Now, listen. I could sit here and we could have a bunch of different ways around this conversation. The only way to do it is to just tell funny stories because there are so many good moments or just like funny things. Like, remember that we did this. And the original baseball show was a really good show. I think that was like a well-planned, and we were serious about doing it. And it was before Barstool, it was before selling T-shirts, it was before sponsors, ad reads. I think we had an ad read for SeatGeek because my buddy went to fucking business school with some guy who was selling ads for SeatGeek. You know, we did ad reads for Dude Wipes because my buddy Mahoney went to high school with the Dude Wipe guy and passed me along some like, you're just doing a little bit of shit here and there. But the reason we did that show is because Barstool moved to New York. Big Cat went to New York. We had spent years blogging around. And I'm going to tell you a funny White Sox save story, but I just have to like set the stage a little bit because it wasn't like he and I were these ambitious guys sitting around like, this is how we're going to fucking get to Barstool Sports full time. We're going to have this show on Barstool. As much as it was like, if we don't, you know, I was thinking if I don't do something with this, it's going to be fucking lost forever. Like no one gives a fuck. And just because PMT was taken off and there were all these podcasts in New York and we're just sitting here in Chicago, like, the Cubs won the World Series. We're no one's involved. Dan's doing that. We're just out of the mix. So I had went around and asked a couple people, hey, you want to do a podcast? I gotta know. So I called Dave and I'm like, hey, what if we did a Chicago sports podcast? The only thing is we got to get along. And he's like, done, in 100%. Let's fucking go. You know, like that's really the beauty of Dave is like if you bring something to him, he's gonna say he's all gas, no fucking brakes. No, he's all fucking gas, no brakes most of the time. And so we just like, I remember like we sat in office for like a month and a half, trying to figure out how to plug a fucking microphone in. We'd be like, yo, let's get together. We'll finally do our first episode. We got together 6 times and I have 1 episode. And it had finally come together over the years. And so I would tell you there's a couple funny things about this now. And so now it's just me and White Sox Dave. And again, this isn't like some ambitious thing we're going to make money. We're literally like, we're just doing this because we probably should have a podcast. We should be involved in a podcast. That's the entry level consideration.
And you got to do it yourself. You're like, well, let's go. Let's push it ourselves.
So we start selling. One time we're selling T-shirts to make some money off this, and I fucked up the T-shirt order. We promised everyone who listened to the show, which wasn't a lot of people. I mean, it was a lot of people in hindsight. It's a lot of people, I'd say. But like we were doing a live party. We were selling T-shirts, and I fucked up the T-shirt order. And the T-shirts don't get delivered to us until Friday, and the game is Saturday. So we hand deliver that Friday night. We hand deliver like 130 fucking T-shirts across the city of Chicago. And I had to download like trucking software that like mapped out the fastest route to all 130 addresses.
Holy shit.
Oh, dude, it was. And I had to pack
Who's
them
driving?
I drove one. I did like 60 deliveries. White Sox Dave did like 55, and then a guy named Ozzie Stern who worked with us did like 20 deliveries himself. It was fucking nightmare. But now my point is, Dave held this over my head. You know, you fucked the t-shirt order up, and not like, you know, I fucked it up like too hard. He was just. It was kind of like a. Remember when you fucked that up? So we order more t-shirts, and we have all these fucking t-shirts. And Thanksgiving rolls around. There's probably like 100 t-shirts, and we're not selling nearly as much. When White Sox Dave calls me and he goes, "Hey, I got good news, dude." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I just sold out all of our t-shirts." I'm like, "What? That's incredible." And he goes, "Yeah, I did it today. I went to work and I put the t-shirts on sale at 50% off." And I go, "Why the fuck would you do that?" He's like, "I want to get rid of the fucking t-shirts, dude." And I go, "You sold those t-shirts for $14. And I'm all mad. I'm like, he's like, "Fucking calm the fuck down, dude, you fucking idiot. I sold the t-shirts for $14. They only cost $12 to make. We're making $2 a shirt. We sold 100 fucking t-shirts. That's $200. And I go, "Yeah, you fucking idiot. Well, there's $7 to fucking ship, so we just lost $500. He's like, so then he and I had to go to a FedEx, sit next to each other, and fucking individually fill these fucking.
Oh no!
And we're just bitching at each other. That was the time I sat at a FedEx with White Sox. Now, part of the reason though I bring up like we had to hand deliver the shirts is like there was a little bit of like lingering sentiment about like I'll handle the t-shirt. You know, you fuck the t-shirt.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was hanging over my head that much, but we had fucked these t-shirts up. So then I'm staying on these t-shirts for a second. So while we're promoting these t-shirts, at some point WGN calls us and says, "Will you come on the show? Are you guys interested in coming on and doing the Jarrett and Josh show?" I think it was like Chicago Sports Update or something. It was a WGN show with Jarrett and Josh Friedman.
Okay.
And so Dave and I had been on there a couple times. It's the same show where Dave was chewing the gum, if you remember.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So this was, and do you remember what Dave was wearing when he was chewing the gum?
I feel like he had maybe a shirt on, or maybe a suit. Did he have a suit on? I felt he was dressed up.
He was dressed up, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, for him especially. Like,
so at the time I'm working in sales. I had to wear a suit probably 3-4 days a week because I'm going out to clients and like I work in white collar sales, and so we're going to WGN. Dave goes, "What do you want to wear?" You know, he's big. Dave's big appearance guy, and I don't get like we all are. If you're in showbiz, you should be like, you know. I should say it like that, but Dave he's conscious of like the aesthetic, and so he's saying like, "Hey, what are you gonna wear? Let's make sure we're on the same page about this." And I go, "You wear the Han shirt, I'll wear the Theo shirt, and we'll market these shirts together." And he's like, "Fucking perfect idea, dude," because he's coming from work, I'm coming from work. And so obviously I wear a suit. I'm not wearing the Theo shirt. Obviously I'm like all dry. I go, "This will be funny." It'd be funny to get Dave's reaction
when you walk in like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm like at this point, I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't remember if I was with Danny Conrad or Ozzie Stern. I'm with one of our. It's Ed. I think it was Ozzie, but it was like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Ozzie. I can't say if it was Ozzie or Danny. So it's me, Ozzie, or Danny. We'll just say it's Ozzie. It's me and Ozzie. We're waiting for Dave to show up. Dave walks in WGN, and if you've been down there, it's a long corridor, and it leads right into the morning studio. There's no hiding from anyone on here. It's just cubicle desks. Dan Rowan is there. Larry Potash is in the corner editing his fucking stuff. Robin Baumgartner's having a cup of coffee. You got fucking Thomas Sulos talking to a camera guy. I mean, it is packed with everybody you see. Fucking Tom Skilling's over there. Like, the floor is filled. We are going on live TV. Dave has mere minutes to come in. He sees me in this suit. He comes fucking hauling in. Drops his bag down and lights me up in front of everybody. You fucking piece of shit. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Fucking knew it, you motherfucker. I knew you'd come in here and fucking pull this bullshit. Oh, I'm howling, dude. I'm crying. I'm like chasing him into the bathroom. Shut up, dude. You're never going to get invited back here again if you act like this. Why'd you fucking dress like that? Because I thought it'd be funny. I didn't think you'd fucking lose it like this. I'll never trust you again. I'll never fucking trust you. Dude, it's just a joke. It's just a shirt. Don't take the shirt off. Don't take the shirt off. Don't take the shirt off. So, dude, Dan Roan is staring at us like a long time. He's just like, are you all right? Is everything going on okay? Is everybody, are you guys going to be okay? It was one of the funniest fucking things. Not on camera, no documentation. We didn't talk about it afterwards. It was fucking.
It's in the wind after that.
But now I will say, concluding thoughts on this. There's a good period of time where it's just me and him doing stuff stuff like that. And there's a good period of time where like nobody cared. Nobody cared that we were trying. Nobody cared we were doing. No one was fucking saying what's up to us. Nobody was fucking interested. It was just me and Dave trying to be relevant, trying to have fun with it. And it was a lot of fun, dude. Like it was just when it was me and him, we're in the basement of Guaranteed Rate interviewing Whit Merrifield before a game. Or one time Len Casper was like, yeah, I'll do an interview with you guys, but it has to be at 6 a.m. on a Saturday because he didn't want to do the interview. Dave and I were like, done. And we fucking got up and interviewed like Casper, like pissed drunk. We couldn't fucking. But there's a lot of really funny things, and I would encourage anyone to go look. There's a couple of videos we did where we tried out for minor league baseball teams back in 2018 or something. The videos are fucking hilarious. We can cuss each other. We're like trying out with we're trying out for a minor league baseball team together, and we've got a fucking video out there on YouTube where we were doing like spider tack. Shit at Northwestern, and it's like the most viewed thing Barstool Chicago's ever. There's like 600,000 views on this video because it hit the algorithm at the right time of like failed college pitchers. So there's some funny things out there that in really funny moments and stuff. And as I'm like coming on, like who knows how much longer I'll be Barstool Carl. How much longer I'm going to be riding the ship of Barstool Sports? We'll see on that. But like as time goes on and stuff, you just look back, like there's it's really funny. Like it's just some like, I'm like, I have 1,000 of these fucking White Sox Dave. You just getting we're fucking, dude. There's probably 30 episodes that we had to take at least an hour long break because we're screaming at each other in my office.
Speaking of podcasts and jumping off of Redline Radio, the original, which I loved, after Redline Radio, you ended up hosting Starting Nine with Jake Arrieta. It's got to be insane for you to be hosting a show with a player from your all-time favorite team who's one of the great players of the era in which they won the championship. What was that like?
Yeah, my favorite pitcher from my generation before he was on the Cubs. Like, he was my favorite. Like, he was a stud in college. He's a gangster, dude. He's a fucking sweet dude. Hosting the show with them came together real rapidly because Jared had left Barstool. Carabas had left Barstool, and there was nobody doing any Major League Baseball coverage. And I had got an email or like, can you take a call with Hank? And they were like, do you guys want to? It was something. I'm on a call with Hank, and he had just brought it up if I knew any baseball players. So that's how I had originally brought it to Jake and was like, would you be interested in doing this? And he was like, oh, I would, but I'm moving to Japan. And I was like, oh, fuck that. And he was like, I'm just kidding. I'm not moving to Japan. I would love to go. I was like, I didn't know that was a joke. I didn't know someone joking about making millions of dollars in Japan was on the table. So then we did it, it kind of happened abruptly and a little bit later into the first season. And it was so cool, dude. Like, who would be the guy from the White Sox you would want to host a show with?
Man, that's my favorite player of all time is Harold Baines, but he's getting too old to be a guy to host a show with. Some of the funnier guys, I guess, I don't know. I mean, like probably Brandon McCarthy, even though he wasn't with the Sox that long, just because he's hilarious. Like, I would probably choose one of those guys and less of like the lore of a great player, just to cut up with somebody.
So I would put that Arrieta more in like that Burley category of the legendary status of like, remember when Burley did this in the World Series? Like, remember when Jake Arrieta won game 2 down 1-0? Remember when Jake Arrieta won game 6 down 3-2? Remember when he told the city of Pittsburgh, like, it doesn't matter, you guys are fucked tomorrow? And then threw a complete game shutout that involved him getting drilled. And then he stole second base on the next pitch afterwards and like looked in the dugout and was like, hit me again, bitch. The dude is I mean, he's done obviously some significant things in Chicago, and he had never hosted a show before. And it was fun. There's so many funny moments there where he's like, why the fuck are we doing this? Barstool would be like, hey, could you have Jake post this to Instagram? And I'd be like, nope. Nope. Not, dude. I remember I was talking to Ian Happ, now some name dropping shit, but I'm on like a FaceTime with Ian Happ after the show gets announced or something. He's golfing. And I was like, hey, would you have any advice for working with Jake? And he was like, yeah, my best advice is I'm not giving you any advice, man. Just fucking good luck. Just good luck. Because, like, the stories and the legend of him being like an alpha male, until you're hanging out with him, like, you really don't know it. Like, we went out to Philadelphia for the World Series one time. I shouldn't say one time. We were working together. Yeah. And he wanted to play golf. He's like, bring your golf clubs. I'm like, okay. So I bring my golf clubs. We go to this old famous country club. And we go to play 18. We play 18 with two of his buddies. And I should give him credit real quick because he's like, hey, two of my buddies from Philly are going to play golf with us. And I'm thinking, like, here comes some fucking hot shot, big swinging. Nope. Regular Philly fans. Just two of the most regular guys you've ever seen in your life. I'm like, how are you friends with Jake? They're like, oh, we met him out one day. And we were like big Phillies fans. We've been hanging out ever since. So we're like at this, okay, cool. Insane. And he had stuff like this all over. He had stories like that or people like that in his life like crazy. But so we're playing Philly cricket and we walk 18. You have to walk.
Okay, no cards, no, yeah. All right.
Nothing. We get done. Yeah. And he's like, I think I was feeling something there towards the end. Can we go back out and play more? And I'm like, we just walked 18. We have to go to the World Series game. It's in like 4.5 hours. He's like, well, fucking walk fast. That's fine. We walked another 18 together.
Oh, shit.
Because he was getting a swing and we were gambling and like, we lost some money in the first. So it was like, we'll fucking run it back. We ran it. We did run it back with our golf clubs. We ran back 18 fucking holes. He didn't give a fuck, dude. I bet him within casinos where he's going up to a floor manager and being like, hey, I want to play. And they're like, we won't open a table for you. And he's just like, I've got $10,000 right here that I will put on the first hand. Swear on my life. Just please open up a side table. And he would just do shit like that. But then behind that is this like amazing character who like, he's just a very personable, loving. He came to Chicago one time. He got mad at me because I didn't fucking offer to like, hey, do you want to stay on my couch? He stayed at the Trump. He was like, why didn't you just fucking let me sleep on your couch? I'm like, out of like respect to you, like I didn't think you live, I didn't think you would be interested in sleeping on a couch. He's like, fuck yeah, dude, boys go out for the night, go back on the couch, have a night, catch a shower. She's like, yeah, it'd be a good night, man. It'd be a good night. Love him to death. And let me just say this too, is on a baseball thing. Because I was thinking about this. Like, I knew we were going to probably we were talking about Jake here. I think it's incredible that he had no interest in the 2015 run, no interest in the 2016 success. He's much more interested in like the journey of the career. And I learned a lot about how baseball players see themselves through him. And I learned a lot about the psychology of Major League Baseball from him, because he's like, dude, just because I was good in 15 doesn't mean I was bad in 14, doesn't mean I was less of a guy. Because when you start doing that to a baseball player, you were really good this season. Okay, well, if I'm not that good this year, why? If I'm hurt, now do I feel worse about myself? Like, yeah, I was awesome in 2015 because I was healthy and I was in a fucking groove and like things were going my fucking way. Like, that doesn't mean I was a better guy in 2015. And the connectivity we have as fans with players, he got me thinking way fucking different about the way we criticize players and the way we talk about success at the major league level. And I think he did it for the better, where I'm really satisfied with the way I view the game and view players these days. And I give a lot of that credit to the conversations and how much he taught me about, like, why do you think this guy sucks? Or why do you think this guy's awesome? And you start talking to him about it. And he's just like, you got to realize all these fucking players are awesome. A lot of it's circumstantial. A lot of it's health. And, I don't know. I can go on for hours.
No. I mean, I'm curious about this, because how much does he think of it as like, okay, well, that guy was nicked up or whatever, or some of this shit is just luck. Like, oh yeah, that guy hit my best pitch right there, and that's why my ERA shot up because of one lucky ass swing by a guy when I was pitching the game I was supposed to. It is interesting because we don't think about that from the butterfly effect standpoint, or the stuff we can't see. We're looking at box scores, we're watching highlights or whatever, and we're not really understanding that, or even the psychology behind the players as they're going through the journey.
I think the psychology behind the players is like the part that fans are missing the most on. And we need to get significantly further away from numbers and matchups and data, but that's the stuff that's available to us. The stuff that's not available to us is like, does this guy feel fucking good about himself in the situation? You know, like, I don't know. I feel like Andrew Vaughn is somebody we could talk about the psychology baseball around, and like him in a different environment, or him being drafted in a different position, or, you know, like where he fits in the White Sox is a good example. But just players in general, like they view the game, how about this, way differently than us, the fans, do.
Than we do. Yeah.
And it's not to say like, oh, you're dumb, you don't understand OPS or WAR. It's like, yeah, I don't have to. I'm playing.
They're doing it.
Like, I feel ground balls. That's what I do. Or
right.
You know, I throw 98 with a sinker. Like, I don't have to. I'm not sucked into that stuff. I'm trying to execute my stuff the best that I can. And players are really far away, really, really far away from front offices, and much more than you can imagine, I would say. That was a startling thing for me. We're like, so are you guys tight, or how does that work? Fuck that, dude. Everybody hates the GM except for the owner. Everybody hates the GM in the front office. And all
the suits. They don't like the suits.
Nothing. They got nothing for them. Whereas, you know, you'd think it's like one big happy family, or people are all working together. Like, thank God for the players union too. The players union does a great job protecting players. And I think without the players union, they would be run over by the owners. And I think anytime we get in a situation where it's owners versus players union, everybody should be backing players at all times. Always.
1,000,000%.
Always. Anybody who wants to talk about owners can get fucking lost. Yeah.
I love it. Carl, this has been great. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but we got to get to this one last thing, because you and I are both longtime Chicago Catholic League guys. And Treasy and I, we met up with you and the other guys at the NBA Jam event at Joe's on Weed back in 2020. This was right before the pandemic. I'm glad that the COVID virus had not gotten into Joe's on Weed that day and didn't make us all sick. Great event. We're hanging out, and I asked you this question, and I rarely ever bring like something like this from 5 years ago to the show, but I thought it was so funny. I asked you at the time, you went to Brother Rice, I went to De La Salle. Who are your three most hated rivals in the Chicago Catholic League? And do you still have like some fire towards these teams?
Yeah, I think the fire goes away when you get older, unless you're playing each other. So the fire when you were younger was every day. That's a Rita guy. Fuck Rita. You know, now I see a Rita guy, I'm like, awesome. Unless we're playing Rita, fuck Rita. You know, but like Rita guys are a little dumb, so you know, I don't want to give them the business too hard. So rivals. I'll start with the biggest rival for us at Brother Rice is obviously Marist, and that took a great turn when I believe in Grammer's like 5th or 6th. No. It took a great turn when I was in high school, because after my freshman year, Marist let girls in.
Oh, it went co-ed.
Yeah, when they went co-ed, it completely changed the dynamic, because then it was like, obviously, it's better to go to a co-ed school now. It's like, thinking about it, like, that was lame. We made fun of these guys for having girls in the school. Little gay there, guys. Little fucking gay. You know, like, oh, not girls. But, like, that was a funny thing. He's like, oh, let the girls play. And then I would say Rita, too. The problem with Rita is, you know, Rita likes Carmel. You know, so Rita's got their good thing with Carmel, but then I put Carmel 3. You know, those are my Chicago Catholic League ones specifically. But if we have to take out the Chicago Catholic Leaguers, I would just say, and I know I'm bumping ESCC into CCL when I throw Marist in there going back to 05 like that. So I don't want to hear it from
that's okay.
Joe's crowd. Okay. Spare me. Right. But if we could put public schools on there, I hated every public school more than any Catholic school. I hated Sandburg so much. I hated Stagg. I loved beating up on Richards. Anytime we play Bremen, slaughter. Dude, Revis, slaughter, like any of those schools did. So I don't know if you could agree with what De La Salle had, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it depended on sports, too. Like, yeah, we hated St. Rita. I played basketball. We hated St. Rita. We would always get into it kind of with Leo. Like, Leo was a big rival for us in basketball. Mount Carmel, too, in basketball. Like, they were good, and we would battle with them. In football, actually, while I was at D, They beat Mount Carmel twice, which is a super fucking rarity. They beat them in the playoffs when I was a sophomore. The varsity team beat Don McNadd's team in the playoffs that year and sent them to like the you know how they have the city championship game at the. So that was like one year they didn't go down state. Like that was so super rare. And then when I was a senior, the guys who played football, they beat a very injured Mount Carmel team. So I saw De La Salle beat Mount Carmel twice while I was a student there in football, which is insane. No one's ever going to see that again. Like,
yeah, and you know what? People are going to tease us because like it still matters to us now as we're older. We're reminiscing. Like my reaction there was amazing. I was dead serious. 2 years ago or however long it was ago, your sophomores knocked Frank Lenny out of the state. Oh my God, you serious? That's why it matters. Dude, what do you think I picked this on purpose? Somebody think I'm like making it up that I love Brother
No.
Rice? How about this? Jack Lausch played at Brother Rice. He was the quarterback. He was at Northwestern. He started for Northwestern at the Wrigley game this past weekend. Yes. And I was at the hotel bar afterwards, and Jack's there with his parents. And I ran. You would have thought I ran into fucking Brad Pitt. I went up. I hugged. I'm your biggest fan, Jack. It's good to see you. He's like, Mike, Carl, get your hands off me. Let me see it, buddy.
That's what it's all about, though. That people don't understand. I'm glad we could bring it to them. Carl, I just want to thank you for discussing your approach on Twitter, the art of blogging, old Redline Radio, and the Chicago Catholic League. Remember, we ain't trying to be right on the show. We're just trying to understand. Anything you want to plug before you go?
I don't want to plug anything as much as I just would like to say thank you to you specifically for having me on. This is good to chat and catch up. And I think you guys have a great community with Section 108. You guys should be really proud of what you built and continue to build. I think it's like for content creators to see you guys, the way you guys do it is so authentic and pure. And I think people that follow that and engage with that, it's just like an immediately tell that they're good people. Like I know I can go to Section 108, have a couple beers, and the people that I'm going to see there are going to be fucking good people. And like that intertwining between internet and real community, I think it's fucking badass, and I just want to say thank you to having me on and exposing me to these guys. And we'll see each other around, dude. Like, I honestly, it means a lot. And thank you to everybody that's enjoyed this or is watching this and follow, because fucking Beef Loaf does it, man. He's in it every single day. Every day, dude, you're in it. And, dude, and your boys, Chirizi, like, I mean, my sock Summers tweeting about cat litter boxes the other day. He's at a state now. That guy is unbelievable.
He's out there, baby. He's trying to buy stuff from people.
He needs his own YouTube show. He needs to be a flipper, White Sox flipper or something. Like, he's a flipper.
He is. He does that shit all the time. And we tried to tell him. He's like, you know what? He don't want to give up his honey holes. He doesn't want to give up his special spots where he gets shit. He's keeping it on the down low.
No. Like, hey, dude, we have a deal. This national storage facility is going to sponsor this. They're going to pay you $250,000 to go around the country. And no, not giving up the honey holes. That's
my special spots.
Good, dude. That's what makes it. That's what makes it pure. That's good shit. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Carl. Take care. Good to see you, brother.
Always a pleasure, boys.
That was Barstool, Carl. That was fucking terrific. That was great. Next week's guest on the Au Jus, I'm going to bring my Sox Summer in here because we got a lot to talk about with Sox Fest. Sox Fest has changed drastically. My Sox Summer was a big Sox Fest guy before. Now Sox Fest is just going to be 2 nights. It's going to be 4 hours. It looks like it's going to be panels, but we don't know all the details yet. It's going to be at Remova. We know that. So I'm going to bring my Sox Summer in to talk about the way it used to be, the way it's becoming, and what he thinks, pros and cons of all that stuff. Thanks to all of you in the 108 family who was up in the YouTube comments. Appreciate you. A special thanks to Punky's Pizza and Pasta and thanks for all the drinks and tips. Thanks. We'll see you soon. And you'll see the boys on Thursday. I'll be out. I will not be on the show, but enjoy the 108 podcast Thursday night. Bye, and I love all.